surprise message to all of us. So to our school principal, Ma'am Mary Ann, our school head, Ma'am Glennis, different grades level coordinators, fellow teachers, and non-teaching personnel, what a gloomy Monday, but I know our heart is happy to greet each and everyone because February is a heart's month. Okay, so I hope everyone will always carry a heart that does not know how to hate or a loving heart to everyone. So this is as what Sir Michael have said. This is the extension of our very informative and very educational in-service training, school-based. So please let us always open our minds and heart for what we are learning in this inset. So we are again receiving a certified seeds ready to sow, ready to plant. And of course, if we have a certified seeds to receive from the top management and to everyone through our sharing, through our knowledge, different skills, ideas, and the like, of course, we will take care of these certified seeds the way it should be, as what Ma'am Glenn have told before, that we can produce a certified result. Thank you, and please, let's start again the week with happy hearts, happy minds, and healthy body and soul. Morning!
Yes, thank you very much, Ma'am Julita. I know that you are always ready for the surprise message. Okay. Sir Lester Win, paki-record.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Sir, wala na po kasi yung record button dito sa Google Meet kaya I'm trying to stream po doon sa ating YouTube channel so that I can download it later.
Okay, sige. Okay, so Ma'am Glennis, it's recording na. Okay, so malamig ang panahon ngayon, but I think we are going to be papainitin tayo ng mga speakers natin. So, may we proceed to the presentation of strategies by Ma'am Christine Edurice to be followed by Ma'am Christine Balanon. Ma'am Christine.
Good morning po sa ating lahat. Today I will share to you some of my strategies to encourage active participation in my asynchronous class. Asynchronous po. So, number one is game-based learning. So, game-based learning seeks to motivate students by using video game design and game elements in the learning environments. Ang goal po nito is to maximize the enjoyment and engagement by capturing the interest of learners and inspiring them to look forward in learning more. So, ang ginagawa ko po as motivation, after I present the lesson objectives to my learners, I like to give them games to stimulate their minds, whether review po of our previous topics or introduction po sa new lesson namin. I use word wall. Gamification lessens students' fear of failure. It encourages students to attempt learning tasks without embarrassment of failure. So this persistence goes hand in hand with academic progress. Maganda po kasi ang gamification kasi para sa kanila, they're just having fun learning. Parang hindi gaya ng traditional classroom na they have to compete with everyone in the classroom. So, ang feeling po kasi ng games, ng using apps like this, parang yung self lang nila yung kakompete nila. So, they will enjoy it more. So, gamification makes learning visible. It's easier for learners to orient themselves in a game with the help of progress bars or points that they earned during the game. So marami po tayong ginagamit na applications gaya ng Quizzes, Kahoot, GameKit. Meron din pong Switch Shop para sa mga math teachers, Guess the Words. Pero mostly, ang ginagamit ko pong app is yung word wall. So, i-share ko lang po yung mga advantages ng word wall. Number 1, it has a variety of pre-made resources. Para sa free version po, meron tayong 18 interactivities. Merong quiz, may mga match-up, may mga word games, at marami pa po. You can find and edit ready-made content for a range of school subjects and levels. So when we click the community, marami po tayong pre-made resources na pwede po tayong mag-search na lang and pwede nating i-edit na lang yung content ng pre-made na activities. So there's a 50% chance na ready na po yung mga gusto nyong i-introduce sa class ninyo by searching searching in the community. And saves teachers preparation time. Ang Wordwall po is super user-friendly. Kahit hindi po tayo confident sa technology, madali lang po tayong gumawa ng activities. Mga 3 steps lang po yun. Hindi ko na po i-discuss kasi na-discuss na po ng grade 7 team noong Friday morning. So first, you just pick a template. Lalagay lang natin yung content na gusto natin. And then pick a theme. Then share the link to our class. Perfect din po siya para sa mga asynchronous classes kasi pwede po nating i-assign na assignment. So, yan po. Ito. Makes online classes interactive. So, it can be a substitute for face-to-face class worksheets. Gaya po ng sinabi ko, marami pong format. Kung gusto natin ng word search, yung mga spelling quizzes, fill in the blanks, marami po. Then, there's an option to set assignment, gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, which is perfect for self-study. You can set tasks for groups or individual learners by giving them an access code. And then, ang maganda rin po dito, yung pag-check ng progress nila, ganito po yung itsura niya. Nandiyan na po lahat ng info, gaya ng who answered the fastest, sino yung mga top scorers, yung average score, kung ilan po yung nag-answer. Yan po. Nandun lahat. Meron din po yung top 3 or top 10 na pwede nyong i-post sa classroom ninyo or wag. And then, yung drawback lang po, 80 lang po kasi yung interactivities niyan, 13 printables, and 5 resources lang po ang pwede natin gawin using the free version. So, kung by chance mabibigyan po tayo ng account to activate the pro version, then it would be a big help for us po kasi maganda po yung word wall. Okay, next In presenting my lessons po, I sometimes use podcast on TVBI, pero medyo tricky po yung paggawa ng mga ito. So, hindi ko po masyado nagagamit and it takes so long po. So, what I use is quizzes. So, meron pong bagong feature ang quizzes, which is, it lets you create, hindi lang yung quiz na, pwede na rin gumawa ng lesson. I'll just walk you through po kung paano gumawa ng lesson. Meron na po akong nagawa ng sample dito. So, it's super simple po. If you have existing PowerPoint presentations na, pwede nyo na lang i-import yun. Ayan. Pwede tayong mag-import ng existing PowerPoint presentations. And here we can add text. Pwede pong maglagay din ng videos. Media, pwede rin audio recording. And what I like to do po is I record my discussion na lang and insert per slide. Per slide na lang po para may explain ko ng masyado sa students ko. Ito po yung ginagamit ko kapag medyo mahina yung net or medyo konti yung nag-attend ng class ko dahil may mga appointments. Maganda po ito for asynchronous class. So, in each slide, pwede po tayong mag-insert ng questions. So, ayan. Mag-insert ng videos ulit. Super dali lang po ito, parang PowerPoint lang. So, kung gusto natin yung tutorial, you can reach me po or pwede tayong mag-search sa YouTube. Hindi ko na po i-demo yung process ng paggawa kasi super easy. Ayan po, pwede tayong mag-insert ng questions gaya ng ayan. Sa quizzes po, maganda po kasi marami kang pwedeng gawin doon, hindi lang yung quiz na alam natin. So, when exploring quizzes, mapapansin po natin na ang dami-daming pwedeng gawin. So, ang drawback lang po ng quizzes na napansin ko ay you have to subscribe or buy the pro version to use all the features kasi again, you can create just 5 activities lang po in one account per account. So what I do is I make multiple accounts and then magsasign in ulit ako sa quizzes. So medyo tricky po siya. Next, another strategy is foster but don't dominate discussion. Ask an open-ended yet specific question and give them a prompt to follow up on. Sa mga enrichment activities ko po, I use Padlet. So Padlet is perfect po. It's perfect for the students to share their images, write a response to show what they learned. This also inspires them to connect with their classmates para mag-share ng reflections among themselves. So, I always let them choose the topics they want po. Para sa ganun, they have more input. So, hindi limited yung pwede na lang i-share. Lalo na sa grammar when I want them to express their ideas sa English kasi minsan nahihirapan sila mag-express ng ideas nila sa English. So, I let them choose their topics. Here, we can see pwede silang mag-comment sa mga works ng classmates nila. And kung may specific topic naman po, pwede tayong magbigay ng prompts like photos. Ayan. Then, pwede na silang mag-share ng opinions nila sa comment section. I always find po na kapag open topic po ang gusto ko, ang inalalagay ko sa instructions, marami pong respondents. Versus kung mag-ask lang ako ng closed-ended questions. And that's it po. Hindi ko na po patatagalin yung presentation ko sa pag-show ng process kung paano gumawa ng Padlet kasi na-discuss na rin po ng grade 17 last Friday morning. So that's it po for my presentation. Thank you po for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Christine, for another OER that we can use in teaching. And I believe we are going to utilize that one for our future lessons. Now, may we have Ma'am Christine Balanon for the presentation. Ma'am Christine?
Thank you po, Sir Verdict. Good morning po.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, so good morning po. So what will I discuss po today is my strategies in presenting my lessons online po. So hindi ko na po di-discuss yung mga features ng OER and may mga different strategies naman po tayo in our online classes. So yung i-discuss ko lang po ngayon yung mga ginagamit ko lang po or how I present my online class. So first po is using Quizwiser as a mode of my assessment. What I like about this Quizwiser po is marami po siyang features. It has over 100 templates po na pwede natin gamitin sa ating online class. Ang main feature po nito ay mga live race and then may mga question bank din po siya. It's a good way po na kapag pumapasok po tayo sa ating klase ay meron po tayong different OERs na ginagamit. Sa Quizwiser po, kahit Quizwiser na lang po yung gamitin ko every class po, marami naman po siyang feature. So, hindi po maboboring yung mga bata na umattend po sa online class. So, isang gamified quiz app din po ito tulad ng Quizzes. And another po, na-discuss po ito kanina ni Ma'am Christine, yung sa Quizzes. Pwede po siyang ginagamit for assessment kasi may mga games din po ito. Pero what I like about Quizzes po yung presentation ng new lesson. Instead of doing po yung normal PowerPoint or making presentations po sa Canva, na binibigay ko na lang po yung link.
Hello, Ma'am Christine.
Saglit lang po. Sorry po. Okay po, good morning. Good morning once again po. Thank you, Ma'am Heidi, po for pagsalo sa akin. So, tapos na po tayo sa ating quizwiser. Sa quizzes na po tayo, Ma'am Heidi. Okay po. Balik na. Okay po, Ma'am. Ma'am, sa quizwiser daw po tayo, Ma'am Heidi. Ayan po. So, good morning once again. This is how I present my lessons online po using different OERs po. First is yung Quizwiser po. Isa po siyang gamified quiz app. Tulad din po siya ng quizzes. Difference lang po nito, meron po siyang over 100 templates po na pwede natin gamitin. So, in every class po natin, pwede po tayong gumamit ng iba't ibang templates para po hindi maboring yung mga bata. And it has question banks din po na pwede nating gamitin. And sabi nga ni Ma'am Kristen kanina, it save us time po from doing our assessment. I-review na lang po natin yung nasa question bank. And another OER po that I am using is yung sa quizzes. Next slide po, ma'am. Isang gamified quiz app din po ito kanina. Na-discuss na po ito ng mga grade 7. And what I like about quizzes po, yung new lesson po na feature niya, sabi po kanina ni Ma'am Christine. Ang main points ko po kapag gumagamit po ako ng quizzes, gumagawa po ako ng new lessons using quizzes, hindi na po gumagawa ng traditional na PowerPoint presentations or sa presentations po using Canva, na binibigay ko na lang po yung link o yung presentation kasi hindi ko po na-monitor kung binabasa po ng mga bata. Sa quizzes po kasi kapag sa new lesson na feature, pwede po siyang picture paste. And then in every slides, nagbibigay po ako ng polls and question and answer portion para po nakikita ko kung active pa din po sila doon sa discussion namin. So yun po yung ginagamit ko. New lesson instead of new PowerPoint presentation or presentation using Canva. And then last po na ginagamit ko na OER, we have pros and cons po pala ng ating mga gamified quiz app. Yung pros po nito, increase learner engagement, provide instant feedback, may mga leaderboards po tayo tsaka dashboard after po nung ating quiz, and then improves knowledge absorption and retention. Ang cons po nito requires access to computer and internet. Possible negative emotion as frustration and unfriendly competition. And does not meet the learning needs of all students. Does not meet the learning needs of all students kasi po yung mga ibang estudyante po natin, hindi po sila visual learners. Tapos hindi po, yung iba po kasi hindi sila fast reader. So yun po yung cons niya. Another OER po that I'm using in my online class is the use of self-made video instruction. Accidental learning po ito sa akin kasi hindi ko po plinano na gamitin. Sa Gonzaga National High School po kasi ako yung pinaka bunso in terms of teaching experience. And pagpasok ko dito, wala po akong estudyante. So, naisip ko po, dapat makilala nila ako. Ang plano ko lang po dati gumawa ng TikTok para po makita nila yung itsura ko tsaka yung boses ko. And then sabi ng kapatid ko, hindi sila nag-i-edit po sa TikTok, kundi sa CapCut. So gumawa po ako ng video using the CapCut. At ang una ko lang ginawa dati, yung mag-hello lang ako, tapos mag-represent ng house rules. Nakakatuwa po siya na nakakatawa kasi hindi po ako sanay na makita yung itsura ko using sa video po, videos. Hindi nakakaengganyo. Pero sabi ko sa sarili ko, ang mga kasabayan ko, ang mga experienced teachers, alangan magpabebe pa ako. Kung magpabebe pa ako, mapag-iiwanan talaga ako. In the long run, eventually, nagamit ko po siya sa aking mga discussions. Kasi ang isang pros ng self-video material instruction ay next slide po, Ma'am Heights. You can conceptualize your discussion or yung lesson po natin. Sa book po kasi nabasa ko, sa materials po ng Araling Panlipunan ng Economics, medyo mabigat yung discussions. And mga supplemental videos naman po tayo sa YouTube, kaso nahirapan din po akong i-translate kung ano talaga yung gusto kong maintindihan ng bata. So, ang advantage po talaga ng video material, nakakonceptualize ko yung lessons saka yung discussion, kung ano yung gusto kong iparating sa mga bata. So, yun po ang kagandahan niya. And then, visual learning is powerful. Mas naenggan nyo yung mga bata po na umattend sa klase. Kapag meron tayong mga materials na bago sa kanilang paningin o kaaya-aya sa kanilang paningin. And then allows flexible learning po. Sabi po ni Sir James noon, nung na-present sila ng TVBI, but yung sa akin po different from TVBI kasi wala po yung features na kina Sir James. Pero itong material po na self-video made instruction, pwede po natin gamitin ito in the long run sa ating mga learners po. Pwede po nilang balikan yung discussion natin. Ganon. Ang cons lang nito, it requires equipment. Videos are hard to edit and time-consuming. Ang CapCut naman po na ginagamit ko ay very easy to use po. Yun din po ang ginagamit ni Sir Reden sa kanyang vlogging. Kung kailangan nyo po ng TA, nandito lang din naman po ako. Kasi ang CapCut po, it doesn't require po na may laptop po tayo. It's an Android app po and very easy to use. So, yun lang po yung ipresent ko sa aking strategies on how I present my lessons on online class. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Christine. So there you have it, fellow teachers, another OERs, another strategies to improve our teaching. Okay, especially now that we keep on using different OERs in our class. So that's all for the different presentations. I think we may now proceed to the presentation of the academic achievement of the senior high school. So may we have the grade 11, Ma'am Christina.
Good morning, sir. May I request Ma'am Buena Joy to present our computer general weighted average and the least mastered competencies. So good morning once again, Ma'am Mary Ann, Ma'am Glenis, Ma'am Julita, and to all grade level coordinators and my fellow teachers. Here is the scholastic report of the grade 11 for the first quarter of this school year. First quarter, first semester of this school year. Ma'am Buena Joy, next slide, please. Ma'am Buena. Yung sa Jiwa, ma'am. So as Ma'am Mary Ann mentioned before, nagbago po yung Jiwa namin because of the compliance rate na tumaas din, compliance rate ng learners na tumaas din po. So ito po yung mga computed po na MPS per subject, and then Ma'am Buena Joy was able to compute the Jiwa basing from the MPS that the teachers, the subject teachers provided. So ang Jiwa po ng grade 11 for the first quarter, first semester is 85.033. As we can see, before yung sa oral communication, general mathematics, medyo mababa po. But then, when Ma'am Buena Joy and Sir John Rod recomputed their Jiwa basing doon sa mismong nanggaling sa record nila, is tumaas kasi they are still on the process of, what do we call this one? They are still on the process of receiving some outputs from our learners, and maybe before the start of the second semester, tataas pa yan kasi magre-retrieve pa po yung mga teachers ng mga outputs ng mga learners na hindi pa naibigay noong first quarter po. So here are some of the list-mastered competencies. Bali po dito sa Jiwa natin, dear teachers, pinagsama-sama na po namin lahat ng mga strands po. So kung nakikita po natin, nandyan po yung core subjects, yung applied subjects, and yung specialized subjects. So say for example, under the STEM po, merong pre-calculus, merong Gen Bio, and under the ABM, nandyan din po yung Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management 1. Sa Humanities and Social Sciences, nandyan din po yung Disciplines and Ideas in the Social Sciences, and including yung Food and Fish Processing po ng TVL. So ito po yung mga list-mastered competencies basing from the report provided po by the subject teachers. So under personal development, the list-mastered competency. So etong subject na ito po, tatlo kaming nagtuturo. It's Ma'am Julita sa Humanities and Social Sciences. Ako naman po sa STEM, and Sir James sa ABM and at TVL. So ito po yung list-mastered competency ng mga learners natin under our subject. Construct a creative visualization of his or her personal development through the various stages he or she went through, stressors, influences, and decision-making points, and a personal profile analysis. Next, Ma'am Buena. So under the subject communication at pananaliksik tuloy, Ma'am Buena. This is being taught by this was taught by Ma'am Jane Dulin, all strands po. At ito po yung na-identify niya na list-mastered competency, na kasusulat ng sanaysay na tumatalunton sa isang particular na yugto ng kasaysayang wikang pambansa. Next, Ma'am Buena. So under empowerment technology being handled by Ma'am Florence po, ito po yung dalawang list-mastered competencies na na-identify po niya. apply web design principles and elements using online creation tools and platforms and applications to communicate a message for a specific purpose in specific professional tracks. Actually po, under sa empowerment technology, namomonitor po namin ni na Ma'am Mary Ann yung Facebook close group ni Ma'am Florence, and we were able to see the outputs of the learners. Kaya nakita din namin na yung grades ng mga bata is matataas talaga. Kasi ang ginawa na po ni Ma'am Florence dito na strategy is yung sa integrative performance, and sometimes ina-adapt na din po namin sa ibang sa mga subjects namin if it is applicable doon sa tinuturo namin na lesson po. Next, Ma'am Buena. Nalilito na si Ma'am Buena. So under general mathematics, kay Ma'am Buena Joy naman po ito, all strands po. So the first is solves problems involving exponential functions, equations, and inequalities, and solve logarithmic equation and inequalities. So, itong mga bata po is like most of us are struggling really sa general mathematics. That's why ang ginagawa po ni Ma'am Buena is instead of giving the same activity na nanggagaling sa module, nagbibigay siya ng ibang activity na alam niyang makakagaan sa mga bata. And ang ginagawa po niya sa STEM, kasi may subject din po siyang pre-calculus sa STEM, ini-integrate na po niya yung Gen Math doon sa pre-calculus. Kaya nagiging magaan po yun sa mga estudyante natin sa grade 11. Next, Ma'am Buena. Under oral communication, ito po, dati yung kay Sir John Rad, yung dati na computed niya na GWA po is 79 point something, and then nagre-compute po siya. And he was able to come up with a higher MPS po, that is 82.48. And there were two identified list mastered competencies under the oral communication. The first is uses various strategies in order to avoid communication breakdown, and the second is examines samples of oral communication activities. So, bumaba din po yung rate ng mga learners na did not meet expectation or nasa in progress po under the oral communication po. Next, Ma'am Buena. So under the subject, disciplines and ideas in the social sciences, this is a specialized subject po of the humanities and social sciences handled by Ma'am Cheryl Sardenya. The identified list mastered competency is apply the major social sciences theories and its importance in examining socio-cultural, economic, and political conditions. So under this po, pwedeng matulungan yung mga bata to better understand the topic under this MELCs sa pagdating po ng second semester, because may subject po ulit na ano tawag dito, na magko-connect po dito. So under applied social sciences naman po doon sa second semester, yung subject po. Next, Ma'am Buena. So understanding culture, society, and politics, ito naman po under sa amin ni Ma'am Cheryl po. Dalawang strand lang po yung may subject nito sa grade 11, and dalawa din po pagdating sa grade 12. So this is under the humanities and social sciences and tech book po. So the only identified naman po na medyo nag-struggle talaga yung mga bata is yung discuss the nature, goals, and perspectives of anthropology, sociology, and political science. Because most of our learners are depending po doon sa kinukuha nila sa Google. That's why I and Ma'am Cheryl tried to give them activities na mas lalo nilang maiintindihan yung anthropology, sociology, and political science perspectives po in different perspectives po. Next, Ma'am Buena Joy. So ito naman po under kay Sir Verdict sa Philippine Politics and Governance. So major po ito, specialized subject po ito ng Humanities and Social Sciences. So there were two identified po na LMC, differentiate the roles and responsibilities of the Philippine Senate and the House of Representatives and explain the concept, role, and contributions of civil society and societies and social movement to Philippine democracy. Buena. So, under pre-calculus po, bali ang humawak po kasi half of or mostly po sa first quarter is Ma'am Naomi kasi nandito pa po siya noon. It was only passed to Ma'am Buena doon sa part na natapos na ni Ma'am Naomi yung mga melts po ng pre-calculus. So, the identified po na LMC dito is determine the solutions of systems of equations po in two variables using substitution, elimination, and graphing. Okay, so yun po sa pre-calculus. So gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, since this is a major of the STEM po, o specialized subject ng STEM, in-integrate na po ni Ma'am Buena ito sa kanyang GenMath. And nakikita ko po dito, actually nandito po sa room yung mga pinagawa ni Ma'am Buena instead of giving them the same activities sa module po. So sa food processing naman under kay Ma'am Mary Ann ito po kay Ma'am Mary Ann is prepare and produce bakery product. Siguro ang reason dito is yung lack of materials na gagamitin po ng mga learners natin kasi nasa bahay lang din po sila. And including na po yung we can't deny it na kapag TVL po talaga kakailanganin po ng pera para makapag-produce po or para to come up with a product. Ma'am Buena? Sa FAB M1 or Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management 1, ito po is under kay Sir McKinley. Complete the accounting cycle from adjusting to closing entries of transactions. And Sir McKinley keep on reminding me po kasi I'm handling the ABM kasi nakakapag-receive din po ako ng feedback sa mga bata, lalo na sa mga naka-modular na medyo nahihirapan sila. So Sir McKinley is willing to extend naman po yung assistance and help para mas lalo pong maintindihan ng mga bata yung topic under this MELCs po or sa iba pang mga topics na medyo nahihirapan talaga yung mga estudyante natin. Next, Ma'am Buena. Sa Orgman naman po, ito po is kay Ma'am Naomi din. Ito po yung subject na hinandal ni Ma'am Naomi during the first quarter and naibigay po kay Sir McKinley when she transferred po sa Abulong. So ito po yung identified na list mastered po. Analyze various forces, elements influencing local and international business environment using the PES and SWOT strategies. For the second quarter po, bali si Sir Jassel pala yung nagha-handle na po ng Orgman natin. So ito po yung general weighted average natin. Thank you so much po for the opportunity given to us to present our scholastic report for the first quarter po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Christina. May we also have the presentation of academic scholastic report in the grade 12. Sir Lester Win. Okay, good morning, everyone. May we also present to you the scholastic report for grade 12. For the first grading, second semester. So we have here the general weighted average per class. So for the ABM, we have 90, Greyjoy 83, Tyrell 86, Barangay 86, Margaret 83, Ari 82, and Stark 84 with a general average of 85. The next slide, sir. Okay. So we have here also the level of proficiency per class. Just look at the slides po for your reference. For the ABM, okay. I will just show you the table per class. Okay, so we have here the overall performance, the level of proficiency for all the class in grade 12. Next slide, sir. So let's go to the least mastered competencies of the different subjects in the grade 12. So in creative writing, identified least mastered competency is to write a craft essay demonstrating awareness of and sensitivity to the different literary or socio-political contexts of creative writing. For the trends, identify parts of a whole, identify and explain an emerging pattern. This for understanding culture in the grade 12, discuss the nature, goals, and perspective theme of anthropology, sociology, and political science. Physical education engages in moderate to vigorous physical activities or dance for at least 60 minutes most days of the week in a variety of settings in and out of school. Under physics, we have deduced the consequences of independence of vertical and horizontal components of projectile motion, solve problems involving two-dimensional motion in contexts such as, but not limited to ledge jumping, movie stunts, basketball, safe locations during firework displays, and Ferris wheel. In chemistry, these are different ways of expressing concentrations. Concentration of solutions percent by mass, mole fraction, molality, percent by volume, percent by mass, and ppm. Their philosophy recognized how the human body imposes limits and possibilities for transcendence. So, practical research 2, kung napapansin nyo, ito yung pinakamarami ng list mastered competencies identified. Number 1 is formulate clearly the statement of the research problem, synthesize information from relevant literature, writes coherent review of literature, plans data analysis using statistics and hypothesis testing if appropriate, constructs an instrument and establishes its validity and reliability, differentiate kinds of variables, writes research title, states research question. I believe one of the problems here is the learners are having the difficulty in doing this in ELCs because not all learners are or have the writing skill to formulate questions and research titles and more. And as you can see in the synthesizing information from relevant literature, they have limited literature because of the pandemic. They cannot go out to look for a library or for books. They just depend on internet, especially if we are not if we don't allow our students to read carefully different literatures because related literature is very important in any kind of research for that matter. And especially sa statistics, kung hindi intensive yung foundation nila sa statistics, talagang maghihirapan po sila. And in the construction of questionnaire, wala namang expert or teacher na may specialty sa pagdating sa testing of research questionnaire and para maging valid or reliable yung questionnaire natin. So ito yung mga bagay na nahihirapan yung mga estudyante. Next slide, Sir Lester Win. Media information and literacy, we have produces and assesses the codes, convention, and messages of a group presentation. Next, Philippine contemporary arts in the region critiques available materials and appropriate techniques. Pilipino sa piling larang, nakasusulat ng sulating batay sa maingat, wasdo at angkop na paggamit ng wika. Entrepreneurship, developing a business plan, implementation of a business plan, forecasting the revenues of business, perform the bookkeeping tasks, and financial report accomplishments. Next, sir. Okay, so that will be all, fellow teachers. Thank you for listening, and I believe with all the identified list mastered competencies, I think fellow teachers are now preparing to craft their action research to be implemented later on or presented, and so that we can help our learners cope up with their academic backlogs or any academic burdens. So thank you very much. Good morning and have a nice day. So I think we are already done with the different presentation. We are getting ready for the closing program. Ma'am Mary Ann.
Yes, thank you very much to our presenters, Christine and Pristine, for sharing their expertise in using some open educational resources in engaging our learners participation in their online classes. And of course, to you, Verdict and Christina, our grade level, very resilient grade level coordinators who presented to us the scholastic achievement of the senior high school learners. And we are glad to see that their scholastic achievement shows improvement in the learning outcomes of our learners, which means to say that our learners should be given the impression also that their achievement is very important in the overall achievement of their grade level, so that this will lead us really to attain our goal of not letting any single Gonzagueñan learner to be left behind. And as you can see, there was a change in their scholastic achievement. It did not go down, but there was an increase. Kung medyo konti-konti lang yung increase, that's okay, no? It is a manifestation really that in this new normal or in this very difficult time, kasi nasa pandemic tayo. The very reason why we are doing all these things, because we are experiencing a crisis that you may not have experienced it, but the health crisis may have been experienced by our learners, our fellow teachers, and their parents. That is why we do not give we do not give finality, except if our learners have already reached their maximum and they have submitted already all their requirements, and that's it. Their grades are final. But in the case of our learners who are still in the process of aligning themselves into this kind of situation, no? And that we need to really wait for their requirements, kaya nagbabago ang inyong scholastic achievement. Please do not, ano ba yung gusto kong sabihin dito? Do not question, do not question the changes in the scholastic achievement or even in the grades of your learners. Or the way we assess our learners. Baka mamaya, ma-misinterpret natin yan na we are falsifying public documents when we change what has been recorded or what has been reported in our GC or in the links that we have answered and so on, because everything is flexible, normal. These are all strategies to ensure that our learners are given equal opportunities to still finish their basic education no matter what, at all cost. So that would like to congratulate all of you for you are teachers. You know the competencies of your learners that were not mastered by them. By the way, may I know from you, why is there a need for you to really identify the least mastered competencies of your learners? Anyone? Have you ever really wondered why we keep on reminding you about competencies, or what are learning competencies anyway? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, what are learning competencies? Very basic. Of course you don't. So this is just a reminder that as teachers, those are the skills that we deliver. Kung baga sa pagkain, sila yung ide-deliver natin sa mga bata. Okay? And that as teachers, we should be very well equipped also with the competencies that our own learning area has. That is why we keep on telling you to get hold of your learning competencies even before the pandemic, no? Lagi nating sinasabi sa inyo that as teachers, you should have at hand, ready, your competencies. Kasi yun yung the very reason why we are here in the teaching learning process, to deliver. And when we deliver, we have several strategies, approaches, techniques, no? And that after the delivery, we assess kung yung mga na-deliver natin ay nakain, nagamit ng ating mga mag-aaral. And so, how do we assess? To know if what we have delivered have been absorbed by our learners. So we have the traditional assessment. What is that traditional assessment? We have the written. At the DJED, we have the periodic test. Okay? Sana wag natin kalimutan yon. When we construct our periodic test or our written tests, what do we prepare? We are asked to prepare what? A table of specifications. Okay? So that I hope you are still aware that even today, your written outputs, the written outputs that you are preparing, na kahit 5 items lang, meron din siyang simpleng table of specifications. Because in the table of specifications, those are your competencies. The competencies that you delivered to your learners. And that from the competencies, of course, you have listed different activities, prepared different activities for you to assess whether these activities are good measures also to assess the mastery of your learners in the competencies that you have delivered. So, as simple as that, as a teacher, we should always know that, even without a reminder from the school head, a reminder from your from our head teacher, a reminder from our master teacher, a reminder from our DepEd officials, or even requiring us to have a memo for para gawin natin yon. We do not need a daily memorandum or we don't need to issue a memorandum to that effect, so that you, our dear teachers, will prepare all these things, because they form part of your instructional design preparation. Okay? So, I wonder if there are some of you who wonder also why the least mastered competency is. O, di ba? In fact, ngayon, we are very, very glad that you are already very transparent in terms of those least mastered competencies. Okay? Why? Why do we need to identify and we focus on the least mastered? Why don't we focus on the highly mastered competencies? Okay? It's because this will answer, or this will help us answer or attain our objective of not allowing any learner to be left behind. That makes our role now as a teacher to continue improving ourselves also. That's the very reason why we have this once you have already identified these least mastered competencies, na-identify nyo, na-enumerate nyo, then the next thing you do is, of course, with the goal of increasing the mastery level of those learners who did not master these competencies, you came up with your research, with your, what is PEP, puzzles, Edmodo, Panets. So how did you arrive at this? You were guided by your identification of your least mastered competencies. The COM, ano na ulit itong COM? McKinley, ano na itong ulit itong in COM?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning po,
Yes.
ma'am.
Ano ulit itong COM, anak?
Count on me, ma'am.
Yeah,
Count on me.
count on me. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
these are count on me. This a enhancing or improving the what competency was identified as a least mastered by your ABM?
Ma'am, yung preparation of financial report po, ma'am.
Okay,
The end
preparation
of the accounting cycle.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
preparation of financial report. So that when we look into this, kagaya EVAI, meron din tayong EVAI ni Rowena and the ano yung kay verdict na? Yung sa pasensya na kayo hindi ko memorize lahat. Ano yung sa'yo verdict? Yung coding na yun? PISES. Yeah, thank you. PISES. Okay. So lahat ng mga yon, mga anak, ay these are your answers. These are your proposed solutions to increase the mastery level of your learners in the identified least mastered competencies in your own respective learning area. So, I repeat, you do not need to be reminding you often to do it, to identify, to prepare your. So, how do we identify? Very simple, no? Prepare your table of specifications. You should know the competencies that you are delivering and the activities that you are preparing for your learners so that it would be easy for you really to identify the least mastered competencies. Siguro we need a lock session for this in your own respective groups. If you feel there is a need for you to rekindle or to revive your competence in this one technique, approaches, and strategies, then come up with in your own group lock session, no? Para ma-revive yung baka nakakalimutan na natin. It's because we are shifting from the old normal to the new normal. But then again, as teachers, even if we are already using a different platform, that of the online, no, the online platform that we are enhancing, and even if we are integrating different open educational resources, sa dami ng mga nabusog tayo sa mga present ng mga fellow teachers ninyo, then you discover also, you try to do not forget the writing of your table of specification when you give your written output, because your table of specification will help you identify which of these least mastered competencies are not mastered by your learners. So McKinley here can give you a session on the computation of the proficiency level of learners. So with the Buena and the other math teachers in the junior high school. Kaya nandyan kayo na grupo-grupo so that anytime if you have the opportunity, then you can have a small group session activity that will focus on these things just to remind us of our mandate really to the study or to the listing or identification of our list mastered competencies. So I repeat, we do not need an office memo, or we do not need to a division memorandum or a regional memo. Nasa DepEd order yan. Lahat ng mga ginagawa natin, they are incorporated in our DepEd order. Mula nung DEX tayo, no? Department of Education, Culture, and Sports. DEX na ba tayo noon? Sino ang MEX? Meron bang MEX sa atin? Ministry of Education. Oo yata nung elementary tayo, ano? Yung pagpalit ng pangalan ng ating, when we were in 1970s, I was grade 1 in 1975, maalala ko lang. MEX, Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports tayo. And then, nung 1980s, 85, 86, something like that, napalitan ang MEX ng DEX. Why? Because nung MEX pa tayo, our system of government during that time is we have this parliamentary form of government under the leadership of the late President Ferdinand E. Marcos and ministry, no? Ang mga cabinets noon, they were not called department, but they were called ministry. So, Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports. And the secretaries were not called secretaries, but they were, anong tawag sa kanila noon? I-check nyo nga ako, ministers? I do not know, hindi ko na And then, in 1986, when our constitution was changed and our form of government from parliamentary to presidential system, kaya yung ministry naging department, and then sa Batasang Pambansa there was a unicameral in the 1970s, no? Kaya yung mga congressman natin noon ay hindi sila tinawag na congressman, but they were assemblyman. Okay? They were assemblyman, and they elect their prime minister. Tama ba ako? In a parliamentary system. Kaya DEX. And then, kailan naging DepEd, Department of Education, nung naglabasan na ang mga sports, yung sineparate nila yung culture and sports as a separate department. Kaya natanggal sa atin sa Department of Education ang culture and sports, but then lahat ng mga programs nila ay ini-implement pa rin natin. Kaya ngayon, Department of Education. So, ang daming mga orders or Republic Act calling for all of us teachers to look into this. And in fact, bakit nagkaroon ng extension ng 2-year? Bakit nagkaroon ng senior high school? It's because of studies, researches, findings, recommendations that there is really a need to prolong or to add another 2 years of the basic education in high school, maliban sa ang dahilan nito ay tayo lang ang ganito, tayo lang in Asia, in Southeast Asia, we are the only country na kulang ang ating K-12, I mean ang ating basic education. Maliban doon, itong mga products of research and everything about the least mastered competencies or competencies that are not being mastered by our learners, kaya tayo nagkaroon ng 2 years additional in senior high school. But then, look, tignan ninyo, kayo na mismo ang naka-hands-on kayo sa mga competencies na yan. Lalo na sa practical research. Okay? Ang hirap, see, may I see kasi may mga screenshots ako dito. So makikita ninyo that in your presentation in the grade 12, saan na yun? Physics, chemistry, is this the one? Yeah. So looking into this, the practical research too, formulate clearly the statement of research problem, synthesizes information from relevant literature, writes coherent review of literature, plans data analysis using statistics and hypothesis testing if appropriate, constructs an instrument and establishes its validity and reliability, differentiate kinds of variables written, writes research titles, states research questions. Nagsisina ko maadya. Okay. So, makikita natin na napaka-bigat ng mga competency na ito. Okay. So that as teachers now, as teachers, especially siguro, ang makita natin dyan ay yung mga talagang estudyante rin natin na nasa mababang quartile. That if those competencies, hindi naman yan tawag nito yung instant na master ng mga bata. Kundi, yan ay noong nasa basic education, early years of their basic education, ano dapat yung mga competencies na master leading to the mastery of those competencies, kahit man lang yung sa 75 na lamang sila. Parang ganon. Okay. So that now that you have identified the least mastered competencies in those subjects, so as teachers, you are the one proposing solutions. Okay? You design solutions, instructional solutions to those problems identified by you. Kung paano ninyo na-identify, that's all yours. Okay? Because you know better than the other teachers who do not handle your learning area. Kaya nga, that is your own field of specialization. Okay. Kaya maganda rin na in your LAC sessions later on, anyone can share, this is how I do it in my learning area or in my field of specialization. And if you wish to benchmark from my experience, then you are, it's my pleasure. Kung naman And but if you have other ways of doing it, then please let us know so that we can also benchmark from you. So yung paulit-ulit natin na sinasabi na we as teachers, nandito na tayo, we are already an expert. Okay? We are already an expert. We think that we are already an expert, but you see, even if we are already expert, nasa career stage 4 na tayo, we still need to learn, to relearn, and unlearn, to unlearn. When we say unlearn, we park the theories and the practices that we had so that there is a space for other theories, relevant, contextualized, situational learnings, and that these forms of learning will address the needs of our learners in this current time. So that as teachers, we really need to challenge ourselves to not stop improving. And the challenge is in this time where everyone is experiencing difficulty, how will I make myself become an instrument in helping those learners who really need help? No? So, mga anak, continue to identify, and when you have identified, nandyan na eh. You have already identified. So, the next thing you do is to design solutions, design instruction, differentiated instruction to address the issues that are already at hand. They are already at hand. Your learners have given you the message that they are having difficulty in mastering this and that. And as teachers, it is our mandate to propose solutions to address the problems sent to us by our learners. I would like also to just give you this one, no? Since our learners in the senior high school, they are, kung magka-college po sila, no? Kung magka-college sila, perhaps we can, for example, in general mathematics, although siguro, ewan ko kung may competency na, saan na ba yun? Yeah. So makikita ninyo dito sa mga competencies na binigay ng mga curriculum writers natin, ano? Saan na yung general math? Hindi ko yata nakuha. Ayun. Okay. In general mathematics, solves problems involving exponential function, equations and inequalities, solve logarithmic equation and inequalities. Oh, all right. So that dito, ang mga learners natin, if galing sila sa atin. Now, kung yan yung mga na-identify natin na least mastered competencies nila sa mathematics, then perhaps our junior high school math teachers can help and look into how these least mastered competencies in general mathematics can be enhanced while they are still in the junior high school. Okay. Another one is since our senior high school learners will be going to college, and maganda rin na i-prepare din natin sila for the civil service exam. O, diba? You can introduce to them the civil service examination because whatever course they may take in college, kapag meron na silang ilang units ba, kahit sa second year college sila, they can already take the civil service professional exam. Unlike during our time na dadaan ka muna sa ano kami nadya yung sub-prof, yan. Dadaan ka muna sa sub-prof bago ka makatake ng prof. Because I experienced that when I was in college. Nung second year ako, napaka-ambisyosa din namin, and our instructor at St. Paul University pushed us to try taking that civil service examination by our government. Kaya, kasi sabi niya, subukan ninyo yun. Kasi kapag nasubukan na ninyo yun, at least you already have an experience how to take a government exam that will prepare you for any board examination that you will undertake in the future. O, napakagandang advice yan sa ating mga learners, no? And I know that you are doing that in the senior high school because some of our learners are also taking advantage of some scholarship programs. And ewan ko kung may mga examination yon. But kung meron at nakakapasa, kasi may mga nakikita ako na pinopost ninyo sa Facebook, congratulate ninyo. And we are very glad that you are pushing our learners to try, no, all this. And eto, going back to what I was saying about the civil service examination and preparing them for this, because this is very relevant. This is very relevant. For example, in mathematics, because when I took the career prof in 1993, 1993 ako, sinubukan ko kasi medyo noon, hindi, parang if you are a teacher, parang hindi mo na kailangan ng civil service exam. If you are already an eligible teacher, you pass the PBET or you are a licensed LET, PBET and LET. Philippine Board Examination for Teachers, that's our and kayo na bata-bata pa ay licensure examination for teachers. But ewan ko ba kung bakit naisipan ko na mag-take ako ng civil service when I was in my third year of teaching. Parang na-inspire lang ako sa asawa ko din na sabi niya, parang you are not complete if you do not pass the challenge niya ako you are not complete if you are not a professional, civil service professional passer kung na kanya kindi. And sabi ko, I don't need that because I am already a pass of the PBET. But then, ganun pa rin. Parang kinukulit pa rin niya ako na he was teasing me that I cannot pass that because like that. So sabi ko, okay, challenge accepted. And I tell you, I will pass. Medyo damit basit pang pangastayuan niya. But then he helped me. He reviewed me. Ni-review niya ako sa mathematics. Alam niyo, nagsimple yung mga arithmetic problems. Solving problems. Ang dami na age problems, mga distance. wala akong nakita na yung mga talagang mahirap na kagaya ng mga itinuturo natin ngayon sa ating mga estudyante. Wala akong nakita. Idi, 1993. Hindi ko alam ngayon kung meron. Sino sa inyo ang latest na sumubok na mag-exam ng civil service examination? Why? Bakit kailangan nating i-introduce ito sa kanila? Kasi if you have that eligibility at mag-apply ka ng trabaho, napakahalaga na meron kang eligibility. Kasi kahit pa na janitor ang or messenger or even if they don't require, at kapag nakita ng management na you are or our learners have this eligibility and i-observe nila ang mga yan at syempre kung nagde-demonstrate sila ng what do you call this, ng competence or ng skill, there is chance for them to be promoted. O, diba? Kaya, we can also give this as an innovation to our learners, that instead of just focusing on these very difficult competencies, then let us i-park na natin yan at tignan natin kung ano yung most relevant at na pwede nating ibigay sa kanila, lalo na sa English din. What is this? Basic. Ayun, our SDS in our execom is reminding us of the relevant, responsive, and research-based, culture-based, yan, mga RA 10533, Policy Guidelines on K-12 Basic Education. So, lahat ng mga to, mga anak, ay it's not our own instruction, though hindi naman tayo puppet, but of course we are in a we belong to an agency, okay, that our innovations are aligned to the policies of the agency where we belong. So, ayan, culture sensitive, contextualized, and global. Lahat ng mga to na-i-present na noon sa inyo in one of the in-service trainings, LAC sessions, and every time we give you a message or so, all this information are already stuck in our head. So all we have to do is to put them into action. So going back to that civil service professional exam, we introduced to our learners to the senior high school grade 12 that later on when they go to college, whatever course they may take, urepe no TVL da, ket agtake da iti hotel HIM and so on, if they wish to, even if it is not a requirement, but if they wish to try their intelligence, then they can take the civil service examination. And that could be a very good contribution to our learners if we can provide them a part of our time, no? Instead of we give them review the what are the expected questions in the civil service examination, so that when they reach second year or third year in college, they will try. So I hope that we are enlightened by all this information or all these practices that we are giving you in this in-service training. Before I end, no, it's 10:14. What time is our may I just give this announcement, no, that you can give to our learners that we are not we are not declaring an academic break for them, ha? Let us not be, we are not, I hope we are not miscommunicating. We are, sabi ni John Rods, communication breakdown. We are already starting the second semester. We cannot stop the beginning of a semester because it is in our calendar, school calendar, sa DepEd order. What we can do is to contextualize activities within our context so that we are starting the second semester with this. We provide learners the opportunity to finish their unfinished task, to complete their unfinished task. And when they are helpless, they do not have no one to help them, they can call a teacher. Nag-propose na tayo noon ng CUT and CAT. Completion of unfinished tasks and call a teacher. Another one in the senior high school, we are enrolling our learners in the learner information system. With Grace doing that as our senior high school LIS coordinator, with the assistance of Florence and our school registrar. And one thing more, we have not given you yet the school program for your consultation and brainstorming. But I guess when we release or when we give back the program, it is good as approved, ready for implementation. So that if there are recommendations and suggestions in the approved school program, then at your level, Ma'am Julita, you can have internal arrangement with the teachers. So please give this information to our learners that this week, we are giving them ample time to complete their unfinished tasks. And for those who have already completed, wala na silang ginagawa, then it's up for them to, if they wish to do some advanced reading and so on, then that's their own choice. It's their own choice. Okay? And aside from that, we are preparing kailangan nyo rin na mag-focus sa inyong mga records so that you can clean. You can clean your records and then leave it clean. Then start a new sheet of your record for the third quarter for the junior high school and the first quarter or third quarter for the second semester in the senior high school. Oo. Kaya please do not give the impression that we are having a break. No, we do not have the authority to declare a break. Instead, we are giving opportunities for our learners to finish their unfinished tasks, and teachers also to finish their unfinished tasks also, no? And if today is Monday, perhaps tomorrow we can start Project SAR again, no? We can start Project SAR to those learners whom we have identified needing to be home visited for the quarter 2 and in preparation for the quarter 3. Okay? So, before we proceed to our closing program, if there are no more reactions or comments regarding the last topic that we had, may we listen to James Mike Kaday because he attended the session in Barangay Smart. If you remember, my fellow teachers, when we crafted our basic education learning continuity plan noon, we have proposed na mag-attend tayo sa mga no. Hindi lang pala yung BELCP. There was I cannot remember already. I do not have the material, but my memory serves me right. If my memory serves me right, that meron tayong plinano noon na we will assign teachers to attend to barangay sessions to speak in behalf of our school. Parang ganun. That is one way of bringing awareness to the community what is going on in our school, and by bringing awareness we'll be able to invite their support, no? And yun, hindi nga natin na isagawa because of the pandemic, but if we are given the opportunity, napakaganda that teachers are assigned to attend to the barangay sessions in their respective barangays as a representative of the school, and bring with you good news. You bring with you our school report card, no? When you go there and you are given the opportunity to present our school report card, then you may present so that our counterparts in the barangay will know what is going on in our school, especially that our learners come from their respective barangays also. So that will enhance, that will strengthen our partnerships with them, especially now that we are in this pandemic. You see that we cannot just go directly to the house, no, of our learners without paying a courtesy call to the barangay officials. So please take note of that, ano? Before, nung wala pa si pandemic, okay lang na we can go directly to the respective houses of our learners when we conduct home visitation, but see how this coronavirus has changed the way we do things. Na dati yung lagi nating sinasabi that the Muhammad come to school, or it's the Muhammad who go to the mountain. But this time, it's the exact opposite. We bring the mountain to Muhammad. The mountain there is the education, and Muhammad is our learner. So there is but we cannot just go there without paying courtesy to our barangay officials being our partner in the basic education learning continuity plan. Or kahit noon pa, nung nag-umpisa yung partnership, brigada, they are our partners. Kaya lang, hindi natin masyadong ine-enhance yung partnership natin sa kanila. Is James Mike Kaday around already? Because I saw him left the...
Yes, ma'am, I'm here na po.
Okay, thank you. So we give this chance to James Mike for our information regarding his attendance to the session of Barangay Smart. Take it away, James. Michael, if you don't mind, if we can accommodate James already, or you have other remarks to say before we can give the virtual floor to James. Thank you.
All right, so good morning po. Magandang morning, especially to our dear principal, to our school head, and our coordinator, dear teachers. Isang magandang morning sa ating lahat. So, last Saturday po, actually, nung kinausap ko si Secretary, I asked the schedule for their session. At ang sabi po niya ay Saturday, first week of Saturday, and third week of the month. So, nagboluntaryo na tayong pumunta doon para po makapag-first step po tayo regarding po sa ating mga kinakailangan na requirements for our application in our special program in the arts. So, napaka-positive naman po ng kanilang response regarding our plan to open our SPA. So, of course, present po natin what is all about this special program for the arts. We presented at least 5 majors po kasi na ina-eye natin for the opening. We have the theater, the dance, the musical instruments, we have the film, and the arts. Actually, nakikibargain pa tayo to get the literary na isa para makompleto po natin yung 6 na strand under SPA. In the SPA, we presented also the equipment and the materials needed na kinakailangan to operate. And they're very positive also to respond. At the same time, they're very positive and willing to help us, lalo na po pagdating sa ating kailangan na gymnasium. Ang pinakiusap po natin kasi, ang kinakailangan po kasi ng region ng DepEd ay kailangan natin magkaroon ng gymnasium to cater our theater and dance majors. So ang nasabi lang po nila, Ma'am Mary Ann, and to our school heads, ang pakiusap lang daw po nila is the maintenance and the cleanliness and orderliness of the gymnasium. Nandun din po ang ating volunteer teacher na who happens to be the SK chairman, Ma'am Christine, nandun po siya, and very luckily, ang ganda din po ng response nila. And nasabi na rin po natin that whatever will be their programs, we will dare to perform and support all their programs po sa barangay. And to conclude, tayo na lang daw po ang gagawa ng memorandum or MOA at sila na lang daw po ang magsasign later on. Actually, napakaganda po ng engagement. Tinanong nila, just in case na magkakaroon ng kuryenteng gagamitin, paano yon? Sinabi ko naman po, actually, napakalapit lang ng Gonzaga National High School, and mabalintay ko mamaya magikabilat at para kuryente tayo. Pero ang sabi ni Cap, just in case na kailangan ng kuryente, ibibigay daw po nila yung kuryente kasi very minimal lang daw naman po ang magagamit. and kung ano po ang magagamit na water just in case. Basta yung maintenance lang daw po ang kinakailangan natin ayusin. Kasi medyo i-issue tayo before doon. And Ma'am Mary Ann, to proceed also, we are also planning na rin po to attend sa session ng municipal para sa ating mga municipal officials to present our SPA. Actually, itong mga MOA na lang din naman po siguro nakikita natin na medyo lackings kasi when it comes to the portfolio of this school, sa mga winnings po natin, we're very confident that we are ready to present kung 5 years man yan or 8 years back. And supported naman po yung papers natin. And yun lang po, ma'am, yung update no sa regarding sa ating barangay kumustahan sa Barangay Smart. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mary Ann and Sir James.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm sorry for that. We are being disturbed by ang ganda kasi ng sinasabi ni Sir Orly. I hope that Ma'am Glennis and Ma'am Julita are joining with me, and we are very glad that if you look at yung sinasabi ni Sir, na-address, ginagawa natin sa school. Ma'am Glennis and Ma'am Julita, what can you say? It's all about collaborative planning, unity and diversity, thematic, harmonized content. Dami niyang dami niyang sinasabi dito na interdisciplinary approach, yun, thematic, flexible, para lamang matulungan natin ang ating mga estudyante. So, ang ganda nito, swak na swak talaga. Tignan niyo itong sinasabi niya na about harmonizing content. So, let's harmonize content kasi kung separate ang ramdam ng mga estudyante na separate yung mga subjects, we are creating ambiguity, parang gano'n, ano? Parang gusto kong makinig. So, may I to help our teachers, and we are doing that, no? We are helping you to harmonize your content, you plan together, and then come up with so swak na swak talaga. May we hear from Ma'am Glennis and Ma'am Julita later on. Filipino, Kurana are the contents of Araling Panlipunan. So, swak natin yung yung nile-lecture niya.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po. Ma'am Glennis, Ma'am Julita.
Hello, Michael. Ongoing pa itong lecture ni Sir. So siguro, nagre-raise lang yan si James.
Yes, Sir James.
Yes, Sir Michael. Actually, merong send si Ma'am Rowena na option work plan po niya. Parang baka gusto po niyang i-present kasi willing daw po siyang to share. Meron po siyang sinasabi dito about her work plan po before our closing. Thank you.
Ay, sige po, ma'am. Sige po, sir. Ma'am Rowena.
Yes, sir. Sir James, thank you po. Good morning po sa lahat. So, gusto ko lang i-share para naman po ma-check po ninyo kung meron kayong suggestions dito po sa nakraft namin na work plan, Project Mata, sa Gonzaga National High School, na ito ay noong June 21 pa pero hindi pa na pirmahan ni Ma'am Mary Ann. So gusto ko lang pong i-share kasi nalalapit na po yung ating sports event. Naatasan po kami na lahat po ng mga kasali o mga officiating officials division-wide ay mag-craft po kami ng sarili po naming work plan tungkol po sa mga games na hinahawakan namin. So ang focus ko po dito ay ang tennis. So ginawa kong title ay Mata kasi nakatuon po yung pansin nila sa Gonzaga National High School yung nagawa po natin last 2008 na nakasali po tayo sa palarong pambansa. So that was the term of Ma'am Julita Bucaneg nung siya po ay OIC dito sa Gonzaga National High School. So ang aiming po natin para sa kahit nasa pandemic po tayo ay makilala pa rin ang Gonzaga National High School in terms po sa tennis. So ito po i-share ko lang po yung na-craft po natin na Project Mata. So with the present health crisis known as COVID-19 pandemic, the educational status came into its challenging stage. Parents are seemingly depressed, thinking how hard their children will undergo with their educational activities today. So children nowadays are not allowed to go to school physical, to undergo face-to-face learning due to the underlying IATF or interagency task force health protocols. This also brought some sort of crisis in the sports development of every school in the division. So based on Section 3 of Republic Act 10588, known as Palarong Pambansa Act of 2013, encourages all schools to organize school sports varsity teams, sports club, and intensify sports competitions for more exposure games among the athletes and conduct series of trainings to teachers as well through school district and division-based initiatives. So wala po sana kung initiative na gagawa ng ganito kasi parang sa MAPE po ito kasi nasa Araling Panlipunan po ako. Bagamat meron na po tayong kilalang sports club dito sa Gonzaga, ang CFPJ Sports Club na yun ay tennis. So talagang pinanindiganan ko na po na gumawa po ng Project Mata. So ang ating paralan kasi ay isa sa mga naging champion ng tennis in terms of players. Meron pa tayong active players na kahit sa panahon ng pandemic po ay gumagawa o through video, pinapakita po yung trainings na kanilang sinasalihan. So actually, hindi ko po kasi nakita yung mga pictures ng mga players na nakikikompete sa other municipalities. So maging active throughout the year, kahit meron tayong pandemic, active pa rin tong mga athletes natin. Kaya naisipan kong gumawa ng work plan na tinatawag nating Project Mata. So making athletes in tennis alive kahit nasa pandemic po tayo. So ano po yung plan of action natin dito? Yung goal po natin of this work plan is to continuously develop the skills in sports and to continuously instill to our school learners the spirit of sportsmanship. In addition, the work plan also aimed to remind the need of physical exercises for school, which would be in great help for them to physically fit, especially in the time of pandemic. So, number one po dito ay ma-overcome po nila yung anxiety kasi dahil sa ating kalagayan, so maaaring ma-relieve ang kanilang stress, hindi lang doon sa pagbabike. Kung meron na silang angking talino o kakayahan doon sa physical activities na ito, maaari nilang isagawa sa pamagitan po ng video streaming. So it maintains the physical fitness of varsity players. Meron kasi tayong varsity players kasi nakapagtatag na po tayo kasi ng tinatawag nating club. Yun po ang CFPJ Tennis Club. Ang pinaka main purpose kasi ng CFPJ Tennis Club, ang focus po nilang school ay ang Gonzaga National High School. So gusto din nating ipakilala sa buong Cagayan, hindi lang sa buong Cagayan, kung papalarin po tayo na training ulit tayo ng mga athletes na makakasali po this palarong pambansa 2022 kung meron tayong palarong pambansa kasi ang alam ko ngayong March po ay meron po tayong provincial meet. So, ang source of funds o budgetary requirements po natin yung sa bond paper, dito sa paggawa ng work plan po pero sa mga trainings ay naka-sponsor po kasi tayo ng taga LGU o doon sa FPG po. So yung activities undertaken po, hindi ko na binago kasi na-assign po kami kasi nung June dapat sana ito. So ang coverage po ay hanggang May 22 po. From the start po ng training hanggang po sa matapos ng training hanggang po mag-conduct po tayo ng provincial meet. Para po sa dire-diretso also follow through doon sa mga athletes ng tennis na talagang nagpupursige na gusto pang ipurso ang kanilang dream na maging athlete para sa palarong pambansa. Ay yun lamang po at maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Sir Michael? Okay na po, Sir James. Thank you po.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rowena, for sharing your project Mata, making tennis,
Making athletes in tennis alive.
making athletes in tennis alive through virtual. So, natapos mo naman na yata yung work plan mo, then i-endorse natin at for their further recommendations, suggestions, and comments sa SDO Cagayan. And I would like to give this information that our OIC PSDS is asking us kung ano yung mga sports na kung saan nag-excel tayo dito, no? And I remember, nasabi ko sa kanya na lawn tennis ang isa sa mga tama ba ako? Lawn tennis? Kindly provide me the correct information, kayong mga Tammy, James, and the rest of the kung ano yung mga So, yes, Tammy, you are raising your hand.
Ma'am, yung lawn tennis po kasi ma'am, as years pass by, naging tennis na lang po siya ngayon. Yung table tennis, as it is po siya ma'am, pero yung lawn tennis ma'am, ginawa na lang po nilang tennis.
Okay. So, sige. Pwedeng i-chat nyo na lang ako kung ano yung mga natin, mga pwede, yung kaya natin. And please, kung may mga estudyante tayo na, mga athletes tayo, need natin ang kanilang mga parents' consent and parang ganyan. Medyo nadi-disturb ako dito sa meeting namin that we are attending with Ma'am Julita and Ma'am Glennis. But the good news here is that the PBB will be released this week, within this week, hoping na they really meant what they said, no? That was an announcement coming from our AO5 for Finance, Ma'am Jonas Balisi, Marie Jonas Balisi, and maganda dahil that's a good news for us also as school heads, because it will no longer be in the form of cash advance for school heads, but it will go directly to the ATM accounts of all teachers. Di ba ang ganda? Na yung PBB natin ay hindi na kagaya dati na mapan kami agpilpila ijay bangko tapno iruarmi dayjay kuan, and then we Jacel and Sailani will disperse the amount, pila-pila din kayo, ganon. So ngayon, we are thankful that the PBB will be downloaded to your respective ATM accounts. And another update that ito yung hindi medyo maganda. The 1530 releases of our sahod. So according to Ma'am Jonas, this February i-implement daw nila yung kinsena katapusan na release ng ating sahod, that is instead of having it on the 20th or 21st I should say of every month. Ngayon, nag-question naman ang ating superintendent tungkol sa, halimbawa lang yung na-maximize daw yung may mga teachers na ang kanilang net take-home pay ay 5,000. So, pag nag-release, 2,500, and then another release would be 2,500. So, paano daw kung halimbawa si teacher ay mag-apply ng loan, at how are they going to certify the net take-home pay kung hahatiin yung releases? Pero ang sagot naman ni Ma'am Jonah, ang payslip, isa lang. At doon makikita mo na ang net take-home pay mo ay 5,000. Kahit na ang na-release sa account mo ay 2,500, and then another 2,500 will be released sa katapusan. So, may sinasabi dito si Sir na about yung act, yung Concerned Teachers Association?
Alliance of Concerned Teachers.
Yes. Na itong mga leaders ng mga ACT ay parang kino-question nila itong policy na to, that they would like to go back to yung dati. Kung tutuusin, tama din naman sila, no? Halimbawa, hindi naman natin mahati yung pambayad natin ng kuryente, which is true, di ba? Hindi naman natin mahati yung pambayad ng Globe, ng Smart natin, o kung ano-ano yung mga binabayaran natin na o di ba? Kaya ewan ko, nakahang na kanyan, pero kung ano man ang mangyari, i-implement nila yan kasi it's a policy from our central office that they have crafted without perhaps getting consultation sa baba, especially tayo, because we are the most affected group in this policy. So, ewan ko kung bakit naisip nila yung kinsena katapusan, ano? Siguro dahil, ewan ko, kung ganun kahirap ang mag-download ng pera na kailangan nilang hatiin, or we do not know, we do not really know the rationale behind this. But anyway, whatever will be the decision, then let's just hope that it will improve our financial literacy. How is it going to improve our financial literacy? So anyway, let us just be thankful that our PBB is on its way to our respective ATM accounts. We do not know how are they going to, we do not know yet our category, if we retain our better or baka bumagsak tayo sa good, whatever, or tumaas tayo sa best unexpectedly. Whatever will be our classification in our performance-based bonus, let us accept it, and there are still plenty of rooms for us to improve, because if we look at ourselves, at our organization as already perfect, then there is no more room for us to grow. So let us always consider this, that every day is a growing day for us in the organization. Back to you, Michael.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. And medyo asa-asa na tayo sa ating PBB. And I hope this will to do our work as teachers in order for us to help our learners, not only those who are performing, but also those learners who are least, lost, and the last. So may we proceed now to our closing program. Mag-freshen up na lang po tayo, mag-polvo-polvo na at magsukla-suklay para sa ating closing program. Sir Lester Win. Or gusto niyo muna ng 5-minute break, or let's just proceed? What's the pleasure of the body?
Mamayang hapon na ang closing.
Ay. Ma'am Glennis, Ma'am Mary Ann.
I go with the suggestion of John Rad. Si ma'am, kung anong final say niya.
Kasi 11 na, lunch break na.
11 na kasi.
So may we have our closing program this afternoon, fellow teachers, para makapag-prepare tayo. That's in our closing. Once again, thank you very much for joining, and see you this afternoon. God bless and keep safe.
Mamayang hapon daw. After lunch.